Good morning. It is day 20 for us today. We're on our way home, headed to Utica, New York today, and then tomorrow we'll be taking, hopefully what will be a leisurely drive from there back home into Massachusetts and then for Wayne into Rhode Island. Haven't made any videos the last couple of days because, to be honest with you, there's not a lot to see. We're just on Interstate 90, basically balls to the wall, trying to get where we need to get so we can go home. We did have a couple of interesting experiences, however, that you might find interesting. See, last night we stayed in Davenport, Iowa. And we usually try to stay at Best Westerns because they're usually in nicer hotels. I mean, they're a little bit more expensive, but they're reasonable. They have hot breakfast. They have usually clean amenities and so forth. But this one happened to be all booked up that we tried to get into. So there were some other hotels down the road, and we saw Motel 6, so we decided to go in there. So we went in, and I mean, the grounds weren't, super clean, but it didn't look bad, and the area looked nice around there. So we decided to go in, and there were a couple of guys standing in the lobby, and we talked to them, and they seemed nice enough, and they told us where to go eat and so forth. There was a nice restaurant within walking distance. So we went ahead and booked a couple of rooms, and the price was extremely reasonable. It was basically $40 a night. Like, well, even if it's not the greatest place in the world, it's cheap and it's a place to stay. So we said, put our stuff away. We went out to dinner, and this really great restaurant, again, just right down the street, not even a quarter mile away from the place. Had a great dinner, and then came back to hit the bed. And that's when the experiences started. So I will let Wayne tell you what he experienced that night, because he had the brunt of it, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't have any of this stuff. I started off with, I got into the bed. Oh no, before then, I went to the pool. And it was a little murky in there, and as soon as I took my sandals off, everything was pretty slippery. And it was a little slimy, so I won't get my exercise today. And that's what I do just before I go to bed, so I can burn off some of the energy. So now I'm alert. I go into the room, I go to get under the covers, and I'm feeling this thing all over my body. I'm wondering, what the heck is this? Well, I immediately took the covers and I opened them up. I'm in a non-smoking room, and the sheets that I'm laying on, or coming on top of me, was like Swiss cheese with burn holes to it. So now that got me thinking even more. So now I'm wide awake, I'm alert, and everything is kind of funky around here. I'm right next to the stairs, going upstairs. Later on we found out that this is a very frequent place. Being gentle, just saying it. The door kept opening and closing all night long. And being in an area and still alert, I kept going to the window and seeing if the bikes are okay. So morning time comes, I want nothing but to get out of there as soon as possible. So I go over to the shower. There's mold all over the place, but I needed a shower. I mean, the pool was really awful, the shower, everything over there was awful. So I took a shower. I said, well, I'll grab myself a cup of coffee. Go downstairs to the receptionist, who barely speaks any English, and she told me the coffee's over there. It was slightly colored water. It wasn't dark at all. You could see it's transparent right through the whole thing. And I tried that. I had no avail. That didn't work. So I went down to the corner store. I got a coffee for me and Craig, because I figured he's going to need one when he gets up in the morning.
So then he comes knocking on my door, and he hands me a cup of coffee. I'm like, well, thank you. What's going on?
And I told him, he goes, I slept fine. He goes, I'm real sorry. I said, not your fault.
It turns out when he went down to the little store on the end of the street, they said, oh yeah, that place that you're staying in, that's known to be frequented by prostitutes. So all that noise that was coming in and out for Wayne all night long was apparently prostitutes in their johns walking in and out of the place. Good. I feel really bad for Wade because I was just right across the hall from him. I didn't hear any of it, and my room was okay. I mean, there was no alarm clock in the room. There was no microwave. There was, basically no real amenities. But it was a cheap room, and it was clean enough for me to stay in. But again, that was our experiences. Oh, and then one other thing we had today. We're in Cleveland, Ohio, and so we're going to be leaving for Utica today. But last night, staying at the Best Western here, which is a much nicer place.
Slept well.
Yeah, slept well last night. But we walked over to the Midway Mall, which is right around the corner from here, to have some dinner. We found this place called Hairy Buffalo, which I don't know, as opposed to a bald buffalo, we don't know. But anyway, it's called Hairy Buffalo. And it was actually a nice bar and eating place. And they had some trivia game going on. So we were sitting out on the patio, eating, or actually we had ordered our meal and we were waiting for it to be delivered. And all of a sudden this woman walks out of the bar and she starts to walk past our table, and then all of a sudden she turns around and she asks if she can sit down. And so Wayne and I kind of look at each other like, we want to see where this is going. So we say, oh, yeah, sure, you can have a seat. So she was an interesting looking girl, let's say.
At the least.
Yeah. she looked like she'd had a hard life, basically. But she looked somewhat clean, as well. But so she introduced herself, and we started talking a little bit, and she immediately starts smoking a cigarette as well. And again, we're just like, okay, again, where's this going? So we let her stay, and she proceeds to then tell us, well, first she asked us if we're from the area, and she asked us if we ever been to this bar down the street. Yeah. And we're like, no, we're not from here, we've never been to the bar. So she goes, oh, well, you don't want to go there, it's full of gays. You never want to go in there. So we're looking at each other like, okay.
She's waiting for a response from us.
Right? And we're like, yeah, okay, so what, So, and then she then proceeds to tell us some other stories, and it turns out that she has to go to court today because she apparently took a taxi out of state and then didn't pay for the taxi. So the taxi company allowed her to pay that off, but that violated her probation, so now she has to go back to court. Now, we didn't ask what she was on probation for, but we're pretty sure we know what it was. So listening. So at this point, I think we both figured it out, that she's here and she's asking us these questions about gays and about, letting us know that she's on probation. Kind of let us know that she's available, and to see, what our proclivities are, I guess. So we talk a little bit more, and finally she gets up and leaves, and she goes back to the bar where she was before, and a few minutes go by, and she gets up, and this gentleman starts following her out, and she says to us, hi, and so we both go, hi, have fun. And we started talking, and we're still not sure
what it was.
Right, well, to this day, whether what equipment she was packing down there. We have our assumptions, right. But again, another interesting experiences, more interesting people that we continue to meet on the way. And we talked to the waitress about it, and she was like real apologetic and stuff. And we said, it's fine. Again, more interesting folks that we're meeting on our trip across the country.
She thought she was with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, she's not with us.
So anyway, that was our experiences. So all right, we're headed to Utica today. Again, there's not going to be a ton to see. We're just getting on the interstate and boogieing. So we'll see you in Utica.
See you.